Welcome to the Teaching Your Toddler Baseball Show. This week we are going to have some fun with the nation's favorite pastime, baseball. So even if you haven't taken your son or daughter to a baseball game yet in person, you haven't. You can watch it on TV, of course. Maybe you've seen a neighborhood game, something like that. But baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, fun with your toddler. So this is what we're going to talk about this week.
Welcome to the Teaching Your Toddler Show with Marijo Tinlin. Each show we talk about fun activities to do with your little one, including a craft, a letter of the week, Spanish words, songs, games, and even a snack for each weekly theme. Here is your hostess, Marijo Tinlin.
The first Major League All-Star Baseball game was played in 1933 in Comiskey Park in Chicago on June 6th. The American League beat the National League 4-2. So this week, we're going to have some activities that help teach your toddler a little bit more about baseball. So if you can see a game this week, put it on TV, maybe let them watch a little bit, see what happens, teach them a little bit more about the great game of baseball. The letter of the week is B, of course, for baseball. So point out things that start with B. Ball, balloon, bright, brown, bread. Show them how to write up both a capital B and a lowercase b, and also draw a B on paper or use their finger to draw it in the sandbox or in the dirt. You can also use bathtub letters, refrigerator letters, anything like that to help them learn. As long as they're seeing it, as long as they're starting to associate when you're saying the letter to them seeing it, they'll start to learn it. And it's really kind of cool and amazing to watch. The number of the week is 3 because, it's 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out from the Take Me Out to the Ball Game song that we'll talk about in a second. Show your child 3 balls, 3 balloons. Show them pictures of the number 3. Write a number 3 on the paper. Help them, count 1, 2, 3, because any kind of patterns like that are the beginnings of math for your child. So the more you can talk to them about mathematic concepts like that, as simple as that, it actually starts to lay that foundation of them learning math. The song of the week is Take Me Out to the Ball Game, and I've got a great link on the show notes about this song, and I hope you've heard it before. It is a classic, and it's one that in America, at least, we sing usually during the 7th inning stretch at most Major League Baseball games. This website gives you a bunch of history about it. It was actually written originally in 1908 and then rewritten. He changed some lyrics in 1927 by a man named Jack Norworth, who was actually a vaudeville actor or entertainer, I guess. And he wrote this on a scrap of paper while he was on the train going into Manhattan, New York. And then he gave it to a friend of his who wrote the song, the music to it, and that was the beginning of this song. And so it gives you a bunch of sort of history. It gives you all the words, which we only sing the refrain, of course, not the real words or the verses, I guess. And then it also has links to different versions of it, so you can hear different ways it could be played. So I hope you enjoy that. The story of the week is the Berenstain Bears go out for the team. And I don't know if you all are familiar with the Berenstain Bears, but they are a really fun series of books, and they tell all kinds of stories, about all kinds of different values and holidays and things like that. And there's always really good life lessons in their books. It's about a family of bears, a mom, a dad, a baby brother, and a baby sister. And maybe there's a little one, too. Maybe there's 3 bears, 3 bear babies. But I put a link into the Amazon page for the Berenstain Bears Go Out for the Team book. But, of course, you can always try to find it at your local library or, any books about baseball, about games, playing games, being on a team, any of those kinds of things that kind of go along with baseball is part of the concept of this week as well. Our Spanish words of the week, la pelota is ball, which was my oldest son's first word, and baseball, which is baseball. I also think that it's great to just learn words in different languages. I chose Spanish because I am sort of familiar with it. You can also, teach your children any of the other languages. I love the BBC series, The Muzzy, which is also in the show note links that I will put for you. And you can teach your child Gaelic and Chinese and French and Romanian. There's all kinds of different languages you can get from Muzzy. So I hope you enjoy that. Check that out because they're great. You can buy a yearly subscription and get access to all the languages that they have in their series. So those are really fun and could be a really good educational opportunity for your children. The snack of the week is hot dogs, and you know what? If you're not a big meat eater or if you don't like hot dogs, there are lots of other options for turkey hot dogs. There are meatless hot dogs, which I can't say that I've tried, but I do like meatless things, so they might be all right. The only thing is just make sure you always chop up hot dogs really well because they can be a choking hazard. The ones we like to eat the most are Hebrew Nationals because they're kosher and they're pure. And I had a friend once who worked in a meat packing plant, and that was the only brand that she would give her son. So I don't want to know why, but I think that is good enough reason to do that. The do-it-myself activity is putting dishes in the sink. Now, we always try to do a do-it-myself every week so that we can start to teach our children independence, confidence, things they can do by themselves. Also, moms and dads, sometimes when we're a little bit too much of helicopter parents, we tend to want to do things for our kids, and it can actually be a detriment to them. So the do-it-myself helps both of us, I guess. And putting the dishes in the sink, of course, you are not going to do that with anything that is breakable. You would make sure that the plates were plastic and the cups were plastic. I know that when my littlest was small, when he finally learned how to put them in the sink, he would just throw them in there. So we always had to make sure that it was plastic that he was throwing in. So hopefully that could be a good activity for your child. Game of the week, staircase avalanche. So sit at you can sit even just a few stairs up if you have a staircase, even if it's just on your, in your front porch, and roll a ball down the stairs to your little one. Of course, make sure it's a small ball and the thing that's going to take them out if they aren't expecting it. You can send more than one ball down at once, like an avalanche, or just start with one at a time. And of course, your toddler's probably going to want to come up to the top of the stairs and roll him down them himself or herself. But just do what you can with what their ability allows for. Of course, I would recommend soft balls like Nerf balls or really squishy, bouncy balls. Try that. You can also practice throwing those balls as well. This game, it comes from a book that I really loved to use when my people were little, called Bright Star: Activities to Develop Your Child's Potential. It's by Michael Meyerhoff, who was a PhD in education, it looks like. All these books, I believe this book is out of print, but I did see, it looks like it's available on Amazon. So it's spiral bound, and it has all kinds of an amazing enrichment activities for children at all ages. So it's not just for the toddler age group. It grows with the child and is something that would be an investment for you for ongoing. And just it has great activities, and then it also sort of explains what things it's helping develop in your child. So I hope you'll check that out. The yoga pose of the week is downward facing dog. And this one is a fun one because you can kind of play peekaboo with your toddler when you're upside down. My son, when he was really small, thought it was so funny, and he loved doing it for himself as well. It's basically like an opposite back bend. It's sort of like bending over forward, and I don't know exactly how to explain it. It's hard to talk about yoga pose on a podcast. But anyway, I hope you'll check out the show notes for that one if you don't already know what downward facing dog is. It's really a fun one that the kids will like. And the final one, the final activity for the day is sign language, which is always also hard on the podcast, but the sign is for ball. And if your toddler's learning how to talk still, sign language can be a great way to communicate. So I hope that you will think about teaching him or her a little bit more about sign language and a little bit more about these signs that we have in all of our different shows on different pages that you can see on the website, teachingyourtoddler.com. So most of all, just give your little one a hug. Say, I love you as many times as you can think of. You just can never say that enough. Make sure you talk to them. Make sure you read to them, even if it's just the cereal box or, something as simple as the sign that as you're walking into the store. Just always, always, always talk to them, read to them, and help them learn and become learners for their life. I hope you've enjoyed our baseball show today. And thank you so much for joining us. Please let your friends know about the show. If you like the show, please consider giving us a good rating, and also check out our different places like Facebook as Teaching Your Toddler, and also on Twitter at Teaching Toddler. So until next time, keep teaching and have fun. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for the Teaching Your Toddler Show with Marijo Tinlin. We hope you had some fun and you got some great ideas for the week. Please subscribe to the podcast, like us on Facebook, and visit the website for all the links we discussed at www.teachingyourtoddler.com. This has been the Teaching Your Toddler Show with Marijo Tinlin. Until next time, keep teaching.